Привit.
Bonjour.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Morning Brew, Season 1, Episode 32. We are your hosts. I'm Marissa Kay.
I'm Millie Rouge.
And this is a Yeg Music production.
Happy Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, isn't
it? Yeah, it is.
It's Tuesday, innit? Sorry, I'll
It's
stop
Tuesday.
saying that.
We should do a whole Morning Brew in an accent.
I used to be really good at accents. I'm not good at it anymore.
We lost the time.
I don't know if I could do an accent. Okay, give me a sentence to say, and I'll try to say it in like a British accent. I don't know. I could do like, there's some flowers sitting on my table. So I could say like, there's some flowers sitting on my table.
That's amazing.
British accents are hard.
They are. Okay, hold on. Let me try and say.
No, Harry, you can't.
You can't.
You can't, Harry.
That one's classic. Or I guess, okay, I'm going to try and say. No, that's already bad. Hold on. Can I use your loo in your flat? I really need to go. There we go. That was like the most British slang
That was beautiful.
I can think of.
That was beautiful. Pardon me, jolly old chap.
Oh, man. Too good. Too good.
Can you point me towards the lavatory? Anyway.
People that are from England are probably like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah. No, they do. I tried doing it when I was in England, like, was it last summer? 2 summers ago I was in England.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to this actor from the production that we were all a part of. And he was taking me through the different English accents, and I was trying so hard to help like emulate it. And he's like, "And you're from Yorkshire?" And I was like, "What?" And I was trying so hard to try to do it. And I was like, "I think I'm doing it." He's like, "No, you're not doing it." I was like, "Okay."
Oh man, it's probably like when they try to imitate us, though. We're like,
"Oh yeah," but then I made him imitate a Canadian accent, so I was like, "Oh yeah, just go off a rip there, buddy." And then he did it. I was like, "Oh my god!"
No. I guess it's not really that hard. I mean, like.
For him, like, because he's like super super British, and so I mean he's also an actor, so like he studies accents.
So he's used to that.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I
loved
it.
I mean, they probably watch a lot of British TV, to be fair, but a lot of popular movies are in like American/Canadian accents, so they have a little bit more like understanding to it. But I mean, we actually do have still quite a few films that are with British accents. Like any film that's set before 1900 is always "Hello there," and I'm like, why? That doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't mean that they would be speaking with an English accent.
And you know what's really funny is that some movies who are like in historical fiction, they'll always have a British accent, and it's always bugged me. Like
Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. Not Emma.
Okay, I was like, she's French.
Emma Roberts. No,
yeah,
what's her name? Emma Watson. Yes,
Emma Watson.
I was so pissed.
Yeah. Well, and
like,
that's
this is a lie.
That's the thing too. It's like, it's if you're set in France, don't speak in a British accent because they were not there at the time. And they like even in sorry, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. Even in my favorite movie, Cinderella's like Ever After, a Cinderella Story starring Drew Barrymore from 1993 or 96 or whatever. And there's this one part where the wife, which makes sense because like I don't actually know if she's supposed to be French or not, but the queen, sorry, not the wife, the queen, she says, she's talking to her son about like an arranged marriage and like saying how like they're calling off the arranged marriage so he can like choose a bride. And she said, "Choose wisely, Henry. Divorce is only something they do in England." And I was like, "You're in France. Why are you talking like that?"
What?
I wanted to hear her say, "Be careful, Henry. Divorce is only something they do in England."
Yeah. I remember that scene. I forgot about that. That's so funny.
Yeah. "I shall deny you the crown and live forever." I could quote that movie to like the end of my days. I love that movie so much.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much I could quote Mean Girls till I watched it a few days ago, like a couple weeks ago. And I was just like spitting it out and I was like, wow, I didn't think I'd be that person who could just like recite movie lines. But yep, that movie I can.
I'm Kevin G. Great movie.
Thank you, Kevin.
My favorite scene is where he's singing "I Am Beautiful" by Christina Aguilera, and he gets the shoes thrown at him. He's like, "Don't you bring me down." That's great.
like the best character.
Damien, he's great.
I love him so much.
Me too. What a good movie. I remember when that movie came out, it was such a phenomenon.
Right?
Like it
As it
was
should
like
be.
such a good, it still is a good movie, to be fair.
Mhm.
And
really
then yeah, there's a musical for Mean Girls. Hey?
I wish I could have seen that.
I haven't seen it yet. But I will say you should watch Legally Blonde musical, as that is all on YouTube. Have you watched it?
No, but I've heard really good things about that musical.
Yes. It's really, really good. It only adds to the movie. It doesn't take away from the movie. It's like completely separate, but it's also amazing as well.
Okay, good.
Like, yeah.
Good.
The musical elevated the movie. I can't say the same thing for Mean Girls because I haven't seen or heard any songs from Mean Girls except for the one that my student was singing. So
okay. I imagine it would be kind of cool though, actually. Like I imagine them keeping it pretty similar, obviously, to the plot line, but I could see it working really well. I don't know if it actually does, but I could see it.
Well, I just listened to one of the songs, but like if you listen to the entire album, you could get like a general idea of what the music would be about. But from the one song that I heard, it was like pretty gnarly. It was called Someone Gets Hurt.
Okay.
And it was like this big like till someone gets hurt. And it was like she does like this crazy run. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to send that to you. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of albums, that ties into our topic of the day.
Why do we always laugh when we say that? I don't know.
Because one day it's just not going to, well, I actually have done that already, but I was going to say one day it's not going to have a relation at all, but we're still going to throw it in.
Speaking of
chiropractors.
We could be talking about chiropractors and we're like, speaking of albums. Anyway.
The topic of today is albums.
Yes. Is our topic of today is our top 3 albums. Not top 3 albums of all time, but just our personal top 3 albums. And this was a very, very difficult question to answer.
It is. It's
because
not an easy question.
I don't like to discriminate. I don't like putting things into boxes like that.
Nope.
And I think that this is a very, very difficult question to ask, especially to ask of a musician.
Yeah.
This is a very difficult question.
Because
you don't want to leave anybody out because there's so many amazing albums.
Yep.
So like the reason I chose the ones that I did was for my own personal preference. I'm not saying these are the best albums of all time. I'm not saying that at all. I think they could be, but that's my opinion.
That's my opinion.
So yeah, I didn't pick because I could have easily just said like David Bowie, the Beatles, and like Leonard Cohen. Like that would be easy. Like 1, 2, 3. Of course, they're gonna be great. Like I picked my personal top 3 of, actually, funnily enough, the 3 that came to my head were actually from different periods of my life, and they were all related to like my schooling, which is interesting. So, yeah, I won't say mine yet. I'll let you kind of talk through your thing.
Before I start, I'm just gonna close something, so just stall for a second.
And she's gone. Now you get to see the back of Millie's chair. And the thing with albums, she's back. Okay. And
there's a glaring light on my face.
It was funny. You stood up and then you walked away, and then I was like, the thing with albums, then you sat down again. So it's good. I stalled pretty well.
I was fast. My top 3 album, third album that I chose was the Shania Twain debut album.
That's a good album.
The self-titled album where she's on the cover and she's like holding a jacket like, ooh, I'm in Canada.
I literally think I have that album on one of these shelves.
That's awesome.
I think it's on this shelf, but
it's an iconic, like, just an iconic Canadian cover photo. And I just imagine it's taken in like somewhere that's chilly. Like, I don't know where she was from. She was from Ontario?
I don't remember where she's from. I think so. I don't remember. I could look it up later.
But
anyhow,
actually, I feel like she's from Alberta.
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't want to say anything wrong about that because I honestly have no idea.
We'll pretend like we know where she's from.
Yeah, all I know is that she is Canadian, and that makes me very happy in my heart because Shania slaps.
Yep.
Like her music slaps.
In the face.
Okay, what's one of your favorite Shania songs? Like recommendations from that album.
From that album, well, see, the thing is, I listened to this album when I was very young, so it was always the CD I would put in because we had very few CDs back then. and I would put it in our big CD player. And we had these two big like speakers on the side, and I would usually listen to, I'm trying to remember, I think I'm confusing her contemporary album with a lot of the songs I'm thinking of. But like I'm thinking, for example, I think it's Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under is one
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
that's on that album.
That one's a
Yeah,
fun one.
that's a great one.
Just trying to think of what else is on that album. Oh, there's a song called What Made You Say That. That one's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. Let's see.
You don't have to list every song on the album.
And the third song and the fifth song. No, actually, there's only a few that really like stuck with me. So yeah, I think that would be kind of my top ones, because the rest of them I don't remember. So
yeah, those are
but
good
like
ones.
sonically, I loved the sound of that album because it was just so like Shania Twain obviously evolved as a country artist and kind of became more in that pop world, which it just happens naturally for a lot of country artists. But she had this really cool, like authentic, old time kind of feel country that I think when people are like, oh, like where do you get your influences from when you sing or like when you play or whatever? Like I think a lot of the things you listen to growing up, you know, people always say, oh, my parents put on, you know, Billy Joel. So then they kind of have this, they kind of emulate this like Billy Joel tone to them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that happened with me with Shania Twain just because we had listened to it so much when I was quite young, and we used to like my sister and I used to make up dances to these songs, and we would like have the hairbrush and be singing. So it was very
classic.
Yeah, it was very classic of us to do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just think like country wise, it was really cool. It was very authentic, and I think it really did influence a lot of the inflections and melismas that I like doing, because she just has this like such natural sounding voice. Like it's not harsh, it's not too soft, it's like right in between. It's like such a nice sound. I don't know, I just like her.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I like Shania too. Also, someone just woke up and they're sitting right next to me right now, and they're being. Do you want to see?
It's time for our mid-break.
For Dexter.
He looks
He's a good
sleepy.
boy.
He looks
He's
like
very
a
sleepy.
sleepy boy.
He just woke up. He's very sleepy.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Good boy.
Look at those little torpedo ears.
He's so tired.
He probably can't hear that. You have headphones
All right.
on, I just remembered.
Anyway, so that is what I'm sitting right here, very distracted, petting right now. So yeah, I agree. Well, I agree with the Shania Twain one. That's a really, really good one. I picked, okay, so I'm going to tell you the theme of why I picked what I picked.
Yeah.
The three albums that I picked, the first one was from my junior high years. The second one was from high school, and the third one was university. So that kind of was a weird thing. So my first top pick, I'm just going in order of like my evolution as a music lover, I'll say.
Okay.
So the first one was Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, because they're like my favorite band. And man, there's so many great songs on it. I love concept albums. I love concept albums.
Yeah.
And this, like, there was like a whole backstory to this album. Like the artwork was just so beautiful. I think it's in there somewhere. But anyway, I should have pulled it out. I have all three of these. But anyway, but yeah, just like when you pull out the little sleeve, it had like all like the Black Parade was like drawn out, and like the patient was at the front, and the whole story behind the album was that Gerard Way, the way that he was made up, and the way what they were wearing, like the whole concept behind it was, you know, as this patient who passed away and then was taken to heaven, but and they said like when you die, because they had experienced a lot of death and grief, and they say that when you die, you get taken away by this parade, and they call it like the Black Parade. And so it's like, I like to think you go with like a bang. And it's just, I don't know, I'm getting chills just talking about it, because like I've experienced a lot of like grief and loss in my life. So like that was kind of a very comforting thought for me to think about, like when I die, like I'm at least going to be taken out by like a parade. Yeah. So that's why they're all wearing those like uniforms, and it's just like it's very sad and very beautiful. So obviously Welcome to the Black Parade, that is like the number one choice on that album, because
good choice.
That is the anthem of our generation, I think. When that song came out, people were obsessed with it. It was such a banger. And I heard it on the radio all the time. So anytime it comes on the radio, like you best believe I'm turning it up to 30 and I'm rolling down my windows. I'm like, I don't care if you don't like Michael Moore, I'm turning up this song. But another one of my favorite ones on that album is Cancer. Just because that song, every single time I listen to it, when it gets to the bridge, I always cry. And that's like the part where it goes, so if you say goodbye today, I'd ask you to be true. Cause the hardest part of this is leaving you. Yeah, that part just, it always makes me cry. And that was one of the most beautiful moments I experienced at a concert, which I said to you before.
Yeah.
And then if I had to say my last favorite song on this album, Teenagers. I think that one is just hilarious.
It's a great song.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's just like, it's kind of just like silly and just like, and also like an amazing guitar solo. So, you know,
great song.
Yes, that's my third pick. That was from when I was in junior high and I first discovered My Chemical Romance with my best friend. Yeah, it was great album.
That's through those junior high times.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was one of those people who was listening to my headphones, thinking like the world didn't understand me, and like, you know.
Yeah, I was that girl that was like, oh my God, my boyfriend Edward's coming to school. Don't look at me. I'm a vampire girl. When I see those
like, boys don't like me, I'm gonna be sad.
Oh no, boys liked me. That's known fact as well. Junior high, it's expected.
Oh yeah, junior high. I like to block out those 3 years of my life because I don't think they're important.
Absolutely.
Also, imagine this with like a face full of braces. Yeah, that was my life for 3 years. That was great.
Yeah, same. Grade 8, I got those bad boys in. This is a throwback to my first album I was talking about, but I just find this very interesting. A year before I was born, on my birthday in 1993, that album was released. I think that's a sign. Just wanted to throw that out there. Moving on.
Which album?
The Shania Twain one.
Oh, okay. I was like, My Chem was released back in like 2007, but okay,
you're like, holy crap, they were babies then.
I was like, I was literally 1 year old when the Shania Twain album came out. That's crazy.
No, yeah.
Or no, I was no. That was the year I was born when that album came out. It was 93.
So you would have been born already. Yeah.
Do you know what month it was released?
April 20th.
Ooh, so I would have been
on my birthday.
So I would have been, I don't know. I can't count right now. Anyway, I would have been less than a year old at that point. Anyway.
Yeah.
What's your second album?
So my second pick, I am blanking on the actual album name, which is really pathetic, but it's from the Lumineers.
Ooh.
So the Lumineers, this was like kind of, I guess for my lifetime, this era was kind of like right after university. And I believe it was actually I think it was a self-titled album. Now that I think about it, it was their debut studio album. Yeah. So I think it was just called The Lumineers, which sounds kind of funny. Pretty sure. Yeah. So some of my favorite songs, like there's so many good songs on that album, and they kind of flow, like you said, Marissa, like with a really, like there's kind of a story, it seems like, to the album. They never really tell you what the story is, but you can kind of sense that there's thematically kind of written. And honestly, it's really hard to think of my favorite songs, but I'm going to try and narrow it down. So there's a song called Classy Girls, where it's basically an entire song about a dude trying to kiss a girl in a bar, and she's like, I don't kiss in bars because that's not classy. And I just think it's great. Ho Hey is just a super generic song, classic, that got really famous. That one's great. Stubborn Love, they made a music video for pretty not too long after the album. That was a really great song. And then probably, I can't even choose, but like Flowers in Your Hair, I'll just go with that one. Honestly, I could listen to the entire album, and the reason I think I like it so much is it just kind of flows from one song to the next, so it never really feels like the song's ending. It just feels like every song is like translating into one another, even though they all have what it seems like different kind of themes to them.
Sorry, little side note here for anybody who's watching right now. you're getting a glimpse into what a potential album might sound like for us.
Yeah.
Based on what we're talking about. I want to
Basically,
do a
hey.
concept album so freaking bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I love that idea that just like the
Mm-hmm.
songs are flowing.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know how Ho Hey fits in there because I don't think I've ever actually listened to that album, but now I'm gonna because
Yeah.
it sounds amazing. Yeah.
Well, Ho Hey is probably like one of the most upbeat songs of that album. That whole album's pretty mellow.
Ooh, I
And it's
love mellow
very
albums.
like, feels almost like bluegrassy kind of folk, a lot of the songs.
That's right up my alley. I love that bluegrass.
Yeah. So it kind of feels like that to an extent. And then it just, I feel like Ho Hey is kind of like the peak point of the album, and then it kind of comes back down, right? But again, there are some more upbeat songs on that album. It's just that they all kind of thematically flow when you listen to it all together. So I'd highly recommend, if you are going to listen to it that way.
I love albums like that.
Yeah, and it's got a very, I think the Lumineers have this very vintage feel to them when they do release like music videos and album covers. So it feels like when you listen to the album, it feels like you're listening to something from like the 30s or the 40s. Like it feels like you're in that time era almost, just because of the way they like present themselves and sing, and a lot of their lyrics seem very old-fashioned because a lot of folk songs do have a little bit of an older spin to them as well. So really cool album. I was recently like just beginning to date my partner at the time, so when I heard this album, it's like, it's pretty good like love song album. It is kind of like a depressing album too, but we both like really love the album, and it just like, I don't know, it really resonated with me. So I really like that album, and the Lumineers have released other good albums since then, but I think that's one of their like best ones they've released so far. So that's why I put that as my top pick too. And I also had that in my car for forever, and would just like, it was always on because it was just so easy to listen to all the time.
I'm definitely going to check that one out for sure. Like, I'm going to probably listen to that after this call is done. My second album is from my high school years, and it actually, this album, so every time I just like think about it, I can taste the coffee in my mouth and like the morning that I woke up.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. Like music has such this like stronghold on my life. Like it literally dictates my entire life.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a weird concept to some people, but but I know you understand what I'm thinking. But yeah, my second album is actually a Panic at the Disco album, but it's one of the ones that a lot of people don't reference a lot, which is pretty odd. And that's, which is funnily enough, named Pretty Odd. It was right before the band broke up, like right before Ryan Ross and John, I forget his last name, right before Ryan and John left the band. Because of just creative differences. But oh my God, what a beautiful album. Like it's like when the first notes happen on that album, you're like, oh, it's a Beatles inspired album. Like it's like they're like kind of like, you know, like the Indian style, like Indian folk style so it's like has a lot of that kind of sound to it, like that psychedelic kind of sound. And it's very, very like singer-songwriter, very wordy. And like Ryan Ross's lyrics just shine in this album. I love his lyrics. I've said it for many, many years. Ryan Ross is, I think, one of the best lyricists I think I've ever heard. Even when he was writing, like, you know, I write sins, not tragedies, I was like, that's still like, the lyrics are still like insane in that
they're
song.
nuts.
Yeah, and like just the things that he comes up with, I'm like, how do you think of that thing? Like one of my favorite songs on this album is called Behind the Sea, and that's one that Ryan Ross actually sings as well. Like the first line is, a daydream spills from my corked head, breaks free of my wooden neck, left to nod over sleeping waves. Like it's just so beautiful. And I was like, how do you, because like I was like, you just sit there and you can just imagine all this imagery and like it's so beautiful. So I would recommend listening to Behind the Sea from this album. And it's just, there's so much variety in this entire album. It starts off with a bang. The literal first song is like, hey, sorry, we've been gone for a long time. We were writing songs. Here's our album. And it was like this big thing. And then it goes into like 9 in the Afternoon, which is another great song. It just like, it makes me feel very happy inside. And it was because that summer I had been going to summer school. Not because I had to catch up, but because I wanted to get ahead, because that was me and my friends in the summer. We took like a Science 30 class or whatever.
Smart, actually.
We took like, I don't actually know if it was Science 20. I think it was Science 10, but anyway, we just wanted to get ahead of ourselves. And so we took a summer class, And so every morning, my friend's mom would pick us up. We would stop at 7-Eleven, we'd get some coffees, and then we would go to summer school and we play this album on repeat. And it was just like, that album is like summer of 2010 for me. It was just like,
it's amazing when an album can replicate an entire summer or like a year for you or a specific time period in your life. I think that's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, or I guess it was 2009 actually, but I don't know why I think 2010. Anyway, but yeah, fantastic album, 100%. I would recommend. So Behind the Sea. Second one, When the Day Met the Night is another of my favorite ones. The last one of my favorites, I mean, 9 in the Afternoon. I gotta say 9 in the Afternoon. That's a great song.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear this because, like you said, like even the song I Write Sins Not Tragedies, like it's hilarious how a song like that can become like pop world famous just because of how
wordy
and intricate it is. And it's just like the concept is like, you know, I think the music video definitely helped when people saw that. They're like, oh yeah, okay, I kind of feel like I know what the song's about. But
yeah, well, and even
cool.
even Ryan Ross's other songs that he like, well, no, I won't say Ryan Ross because they all wrote the songs, but like just his lyrics, like even the what's that other one called? And isn't this exactly where you like me? I'm exactly where you like me, you know, praying for love and a lap dance and praying in naivety. Oh, like it's just, and like the way that they put all the songs together, I'm like, how is this like popular? Because it's just so intricate and so crazily put together that you're like, what? And I think that's why I love about that band before they went on their separate ways, because now Brendan Urie is just Panic at the Disco now. And he just does pop stuff, and it's like, it's fine, it sounds cool, but I was like, oh, when the four of them were together, like that was when they were peak Panic at the Disco. Right now they're famous, but not like nearly as good as they used to be. And not because I hate the music they're doing now. I like the music they're doing now. I think it's awesome. But yeah.
No, that's really cool. I love that. Super cool. I love Brendan Urie, actually. I didn't used to really like him as much. And I actually met someone once, I won't say too much about them, but they claimed that they used to work with Brendan Urie.
Well, he used to be a hairstylist, didn't he?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to be a hairstylist, and then he decided to sing.
Totally see that.
Yeah.
Well, they said they went on tour with him, and they would like tell me all these horror stories about how he was such an ass and blah blah blah.
100%. He totally, like, from what I've read in like articles and interviews and stuff, I was like, yeah, he makes sense.
Like but then the interesting thing is he like released this song with Taylor Swift, and it's just such a like,
it's a good song,
childy song, and I'm just like, but he's so talented that it's like, oh, I can't even get mad at you because you're so
his
talented.
Like, I like, say what you want about him as a person, but I was like, you can't deny that his vocals are on point. Like, he's a great singer. Fantastic. Absolutely. Probably one of our best in our generation, I'd say.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal.
I think so too. Speaking of Brendan Urie and Taylor Swift, that leads me to my number one pick, which is the Red Album by Taylor Swift, because it's just a classic. Yeah, it's kind of obvious, but I just really love the album because I think she wrote every song on the album with help of writers, but she did actually physically write every song on the album, which is a huge deal, you know, to me as a fan. It's like, that's cool that you didn't have to use someone else to write your own music. The song's about like, half the album is about heartbreak and moving on, and it's about like perspective and getting older and like being in the public eye. But again, this is, I think, one of those albums that was released at a time in my life when I was like, so, you know, I just automatically resonated with it because it had this like underlying theme of this jerk that you like dated, if you will.
There's some tea to spill there, but that's for another time.
So anyways, that's my number one album. It's great. It's a fun album. It's also depressing, but if you can appreciate the art of it and the lyrics that she writes, they're so poetic to me, and they just have like, I could never write like her. So that's my number one.
That's a good number one pick. I kind of figured that. That's a great album. If you had to pick like two of your favorite songs from that album.
I think it would probably be the two saddest ones, which is All Too Well and I Almost Do. That one's
She's gonna
I
start
will
crying.
cry. I will cry just saying the name. I almost. Yeah, those are my two faves, I think, for sure.
That's a great album. I still haven't listened to that entirety of that album, but again, I'm gonna have to, like, you'll have to send me your top. Well, I guess not send me because I know all three of these albums, but I'll have to listen to that one too.
Yeah, it's not really as much a thematic album, but what has been quoted by fans, which I think is hilarious, is they're like, Taylor Swift has taken the season autumn and officially made autumn the Red album season, because every time you think of autumn, I think of this album. And so many fans say the same thing. They're like, I just immediately think of autumn. And I think it's all partially because she released it in autumn, which helps, but it's just the feeling.
Okay, that's right where I live. That's like that's around my birthday. So I'm totally down with that. Yes. Okay, that's gonna turn into like my birthday album. Yeah. So I'll take a listen to it.
Perfect.
My last pick is actually from when I was in university, and when I was in the computer lab writing essays in the T Girl, which is now closed down. Writing essays. This album got me through all of that, and like I was when I needed to go to bed at night, or when I just needed to just calm down. Dark Eyes by Half Moon Run.
Aha, I knew it.
Yes, I don't know if you could tell how much I love Half Moon Run.
When you said university, I was like, yep, Half Moon Run.
Yeah, so Half Moon Run,
great
artists. Yeah, they're fantastic. And I don't remember even how I heard of them at first. I think I heard like Call Me in the Afternoon on the radio. Yeah. And then I don't remember what led me to like checking out the album. I think I don't remember, but it just kind of like, it wasn't there, and then it was in my life. I don't remember how I discovered this album. Yeah. Awesome. But I remember I would just like, if I needed to focus, I needed to write an essay, and I needed some like beautiful things to listen to while I was doing it. That was my go-to album. Because then I could kind of gauge where I was at based on what song I was on. I was like, okay, I'm on Need It, so I can take a break in a second.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like those songs are just so beautifully, like just sonically, they're just so gorgeous to listen to and so beautifully mixed. And the harmonies. If I could eat a harmony, I would eat this entire album. Like, it's like a blanket for your ears, like a warm fuzzy blanket for your ears. They're just so beautiful. And like obviously when they perform these songs live, like they're even better than the album. Like I didn't think you could get better, and then they perform it live. I was like, wow, it really can.
It really does.
But it doesn't ruin the album experience for me at all. Like it's just oh man. So if I had to say my 3 favorite songs, also because I listened to this album, I don't know why, like summertime albums are like my thing. I listened to this album a lot in the summer of 2018. I think it was 2018, when I was in Dauphin, Manitoba. And this is when I was like really, really just getting into writing, or no, 2017, when I was really getting into writing my first album, Postcards, as Marissa Kay. And so I remember like this song I was playing like on repeat while I was in Dauphin, Manitoba, also like in the band room of the school that we were staying in at the time, just like on the piano writing my own songs. So like this is a very significant creative thing for me. But if I had to pick my favorite songs, I would say Fire Escape, Need It, just because Fire Escape is just, the harmonies are very beautiful. Need It, I feel like, is a very like beautiful like slow dance kind of song. And then the last one, I would say, I mean, Call Me Afternoon is great. I think that it's very catchy. But I'm gonna go with like a more obscure pick, which would be, let me think about this, Unofferable. I love that song. And again, it's just like, I don't know, I like the slow songs. I'm a fan of slow ballads and just things that kind of like slow you down. Yeah, like totally. Those are all ballads.
Yeah. That's what we love.
Oh yeah.
I love a whole album about heartbreak. That's what we love.
I like to be depressed and think about My Chemical Romance.
That's what sad. We love. Just girly things. All right, everyone. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to hear about our top 3 album choices. If you're listening
and watching,
I hope you're loving what you're hearing.
Yeah, and I'm Marissa Kay. And make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified when these videos come out. They come out Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. MDT every single day. And we're also on Spotify. If you're listening right now, give us a little follow. You can go check us out on Spotify if you want to have us in your ears. And if you're one of those people who likes to comment on things, tell us your top 3 favorite albums if you want. You don't have to. You can just like think about it. You don't have to comment. But if you do,
you can comment on our YouTube "Wanna Be Friends" or "Nice video, bro."
Yeah. Please.
Because that's all we've been getting recently. Nice video, bro. Do I look like a bro? I'm not a bro.
I'm a bro. You can call me bro. It's fine. I think bro and dude is a gender neutral term. Bro and dude. So dudes, tell us your favorite albums, or if not, you don't have to. No pressure. It's fine. I hope you have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, my nails look like crap. Bye.